YTBC, what's the deal? Now I've done a prospect watch on Sergey Kuzmin. 6'3", about 250, 260 pounders, he has six. He's 6-0 as a pro with 3 knockouts. He just fought the other day. Let me pull this article up right here because the fight's not on YouTube. He just fought the other day. I'm gonna read the article. It says Kuzmin overpowers Hernandez in the 10-rounder. Heavyweight attraction Russian fighter Sergey Kuzmin played the bull while fleet-footed Rodney Hernandez played the matador. Doing well to stay out of harm's way, but fighting, backing up, and dodging for most of the fight. Kuzmin seemed content to box for the first half of the fight, but by the time he tried to apply real pressure, Hernandez was nowhere to be found, and Kuzmin had to settle for a comfortable unanimous decision victory by scores 100-90, 98-92, 97-93. Kuzmin, a decorated former amateur fighter who won the 2010 European Championships, next returns to Russia for a showdown with the 18-0 fighter in April. Now that 18-0 fighter is Vladimir Tereshkin, and I actually seen him fight. He fought a dude named Yuri Bahautsowa, I believe is how you pronounce his name. The fight's on YouTube. There's not that many fights of Vladimir Tereshkin, and if there is, the titles are in different languages, so I can't read them, and when I click on the video, it doesn't look like him. So I've only seen one fight of him, but I know he's 18-0. He has 8 knockouts. His last fight, though, what kind of concerns me is his last fight was December of 2013. So he's been out for a while. Looking at his style, he can go from lefty to righty, meaning southpaw to orthodox. He's only about 26, 27. He has fast hands. He likes to fight off his back foot. He turns from righty to lefty almost simultaneously. He does it. He just switches up. He doesn't take a round off. It's like he just switches up, kind of like how Fred Cassie does. It's just righty to lefty simultaneously. He just does it the whole fight. For what I've seen at this fight, I see Lomachenko and I see Alexander Usyk in the crowd. So it's that fight, if I'm pronouncing this guy's name right, Yuri Bahautsowa or whatever his name is. But in this fight, Tereshkin just has quicker hands. He's controlling the action with his jab, fighting off his back foot well. So all I can really take from this fight. Doesn't seem to be a huge power puncher, but he does sit down on a few shots. But he likes to let his hands go. And in this fight, he walking the guy down for the most part, and he's, likes to, when he goes back, he just pulls his head back. So he is susceptible to getting hit, because he just pulls his head back, and he got caught with some good hooks in this fight. But I'm going to go with Sergey Kuzmin in the fight because he's more active, the crazy amateur background. He just had a fight. Now, Rodney Hernandez, I looked him up, and he actually is the type of guy that takes prospects the distance, but he also can get some mixed results. He beat another prospect, Scott Alexander, who was 9-0. He beat him, and he had a draw with Javier Torres, who was a good amateur at the time, or in his amateur days, and he moved up, but he had a draw. And then he took Adam Konatsky, who I've done a prospect watch on, took him the distance, and he took Michael Hunter Jr., another guy I've done a prospect watch on, took him the distance, and won some rounds against both guys. One thing about Sergey Kuzmin, in his 5th and 6th pro fight, he's already fighting 10-rounders. Even Tereshkin, who started his career in 2007, we know he hasn't fought since 2013. He was a pro for 6 years and only got up to 8-rounders, So Kuzmin, they're moving him along steady. Now, he did fight in that World Series of Boxing, has a plethora of fights on there. They're all on YouTube. You can watch them. I was just watching the Filip Hrgovic and Kuzmin fight. I picked Hrgovic to win the gold medal this year, so we'll see how that goes. But in that fight, Kuzmin, when he's in that high 260 range as far as his weight, he looks more like a plotter to me, man. I want him more in the 250 range. I think that suits him better. He looked pretty good against Darnell Wilson, although it's old Darnell Wilson, but he came in at 247 in that fight. That fight's on YouTube. He looked quicker, looked sharper. Look like he can pace himself and look a little bit more measured in that fight. Doesn't look, out of shape and plotting. Although he is a plotter type guy, he will follow you around the ring, but he can box. But he wants to brawl for the most part. He can be turned. He can be outboxed. You can use a jab to beat him. Hrgovic was having some success turning him and outboxing him and, using his hands. He looked like a damn little Vitaly Klitschko in that fight with Kuzmin. But Kuzmin, he can turn into a plotter at times, So I think he's going to chop Tereshkin down. He's been out for a while. Now, I don't know too much about the guy. I can't lie. You know, he's 6'6", 240. Just from what I've seen, he looks decent, but he's been out for a while. But he's still young. He's not like it's an old guy coming back in his, you know, late 30s. Just in his late, you know, I think he's 26 or 27. But I think it'd be a good fight. Hopefully they post it on YouTube. But I think it'd be a good fight between some prospects. I'm gonna go with Kuzmin in this fight. Now, Kuzmin has fought twice in California, so he's getting a little fan base here, a la Andre Fedosov out there fighting in Cali. But he has fought some fights out in California. I thought that he was on pace to fight Avery Gibson. Avery Gibson, another American fighter who fought in that World Series of Boxing. But I thought Kuzmin was going to fight Gibson. I thought that fight was made, but it didn't happen. He ended up fighting Rodney Hernandez. Maybe I was mistaken with him fighting Gibson, but I thought they were supposed to fight. But yeah, Kuzmin won yesterday, and he will be fighting Vladimir Tereshkin. Let me get the date for this fight. The fight will be taking place April 8th. April 8th in Moscow. So it'll be should be an interesting fight. But I'm gonna go with Sergey Kuzmin to just chop him down. He's just been more active. You know, the World Series of Boxing, you know, it helped him a great deal. He's just been active, man. They're throwing him in with 10 rounders and they're trying to get his career in the way. But I'm gonna just go with him because he's been more active. I think his style will be able to beat Tereshkin's style. Although Tereshkin has what it takes to beat a guy like Kuzmin, but just the inactivity, I'm not sure if he was injured or whatnot. But he doesn't throw enough. From just the one fight I've seen, doesn't throw enough combinations. He likes to just, peck at you with the jab and the right hand, or if he switches southpaw with the jab and the left hand, and he likes to do that, but if he lets his hand go and sit down on some of those left and right hands the way that, a Philippe Herkovic did, he will have some success. But I think he's going to fight the way I've seen him fight in this fight, and that's, fight off his back foot a little bit, and he's only going to come forward when he knows he has control of the fight. And I think if they sit down and start, airing it out, I think Kuzmin will get the better of that. Just my opinion, though, I think Sergey Kuzmin will win a decision against Vladimir Tereshkin. YTBC, I'm out.